right in front of me we have the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. Now, I've ridden this bike before and so has the old man, and we have done a review of it in the past, but we haven't done one for about 2 years, a proper review. So I wanted to revisit this bike to see if my thoughts had changed on it, and also we'll be doing another video comparing this with my Moto Guzzi V7 Special. So you don't want to miss out on that. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, and let's get into this review.
I am a big fan of the Royal Enfield Interceptor, and I would say at the moment it's my favourite of the 650s because it's got more character than some of the newer ones that have come out, and it's very enjoyable to ride. It handles very nicely, makes a nice noise, and the engine feels plenty of powerful enough for the real world. Again, it's not the fastest bike in the world, but it's certainly not slow, so you can have a lot of fun on this bike. And you've got a lovely flat bench seat, so you can move about freely without any restriction, which is always a good thing. So whatever height you are, you can find the perfect riding position. And it's a good looking bike as well, so it's a real head turner. Wherever you stop, people talk about it. So yeah, a big fan of this bike.
For me, this is definitely the best looking Royal Enfield. It's got that quintessential old British bike look. It looks like an old Triumph Bonneville, and it's just stunning. It really is. Lovely shaped fuel tank. This one is in this beautiful green colour. It's almost like a bluey green, and you've got a lovely metallic green fleck in there. So when the sun is beaming down on the bike like it is today, it's very hot, it just looks stunning. And that's a nice thing to behold when you're on top of the bike. You've got lovely looking twin exhausts. They are quite big, as I've said before. They need to be changed for something a little bit more throaty. I do think the 350 Royal Enfields actually sound better as standard, because these have got a lot more silencing involved because it's a bigger engine. This engine in the polished metal always looks better. I actually think for once this is one of the only engines that looks better from the left hand side. It's a very gorgeous looking engine. It's still equally as beautiful on this side, but I think this area is nicer on the left. The handlebars, this has got lovely chrome handlebars with a nice crossbar there, and I've fitted my chrome quad lock mount on here today. Absolutely fantastic. It's nice to be able to put your phone somewhere, even if you're not using it as a sat nav. Got the vibration dampener on top as well. I put these on every single press bike I get hold of. If I get lost, I can use my phone as a sat nav and I don't have to worry about it. If I didn't have this with me, I'll be a bit stressed out. So if you're interested in quad lock, do click the link in the description. Fantastic product, the best phone mount on the market, I can tell you that. It's got beautiful twin analog dials on the front, lovely and symmetrical. We love this. A little bit plasticky, but nothing to complain about, and for the price, you know, you can't really complain about much on a Royal Enfield. Lovely chrome mirrors. I think these could do with being slightly wider for me personally, because my shoulders get in the way of the view behind me. The headlamp is a nice classic design. Lovely front forks, traditional forks, they're lovely. You've got a nice good turning circle with this bike. Not as good as the 350s, but pretty good. The front mudguard, it's sort of not that big, but then it's got a plastic extender stuck to it. So I think they should just make the whole mudguard a bit bigger rather than having the extender, and it'd look a bit nicer.
Now, in some of our past videos, particularly with the Scram, some people complained about the look of the welds and what have you. So literally I haven't looked. I'm going to look now at the welding, and do you know what, it looks okay. I can't see any problems with the finish. The paint's very nice. The finish on the engine's lovely. It's got this sort of different coloured silver here, and I would prefer it if it was the same as that personally, but it's a contrast, so it's only a small detail. But I mean, yeah, it's a good quality bike. There's nothing bad on it at all. The levers are very nice. On the whole, you know, for the money, it is remarkably good quality for what you get. So no complaints.
Now, when I was on the Gorilla launch, I didn't mention this in my review because I'd filmed it before I was told this. I was sat at lunch and I was talking to one of the head designers who worked on multiple Royal Enfields, but also the Gorilla. And I was talking about the forks because obviously the Triumph 400 models, they went with upside down forks. So I was sort of talking about the reasons why did you choose conventional forks. Personally, I prefer the conventional forks. But not only because he said it doesn't really need upside down forks, you're not really gonna get the performance out of it on a bike of that size or that performance. But also it means that you've got a much better turning circle because the forks are thinner and they're not so fat. And that means that when you turn the bike at full lock, it's got more room to travel. With upside down forks, it takes up more space, so you'd end up cutting your turning circle a bit short, and then they said they'd have to sort of take some gouges out of the fuel tank to account for that, and that's not something they wanted to do with their design. So I really like that about Royal Enfield. The attention to detail is certainly there.
Like we said when we reviewed compared the Triumph T100 to this, when you have them side by side, you notice things like this, like the brake lever is not particularly amazing. I mean, it works perfectly fine, but it's not the best looking part, as is the gear shifter on the other side. So in terms of quality of parts, in that respect, it's sort of more of a budget friendly option. The rear foot pegs are quite nice and everything, but I mean, I wouldn't call it a luxurious motorcycle, but it's certainly a very practical, everyday motorcycle.
We've stopped in a beautiful spot today. This is really a nice example of British countryside. It's absolutely lovely, and it shows that some of what the past had still remains when you come out to places like this. There's a nice sort of left field. There's a little bit of a tiny one plant of ragwort, and you can see all the butterflies are gravitating towards that plant, which is proof that it's a plant that we need, because the butterflies love it and they flourish with that. There was some swallows a minute ago all flying within this field, probably looking for some dinner. Beautiful birds. In fact, I just got one tattooed on my arm yesterday, so yeah, I love them. And they probably live in the barn of the farm just there. Yeah, lovely, beautiful place. Stunning weather today. It's about 25 degrees. It's just perfect. Perfect weather to be riding a bike like this. But when you're riding along, the breeze is actually quite nice. So it's absolutely spot on weather today. So in 2024, is the Royal Enfield Interceptor still a good purchase? I think the answer is still yes. It's so good value for money. These are about £6,300 starting price. So that's excellent for a brand new motorcycle. But you can also pick these up with very little miles, maybe 1 or 2 years old, for about £4,500. So you're getting a lot of bike for your money at that price. I can't say what the prices are in other countries. You'll have to have a look on Auto Trader or whatever website you use in your country. But this is amazing value for money. The quality is fantastic for the price. It rides very nicely, it handles well, it's got plenty of character, it's got a nice engine, it looks fabulous. Wherever you go, people will talk to you about this thing. So there's not that many complaints about this bike. If you've got one, let us know in the comments below what you think of it, how you're getting on with it. Often you get a couple of comments, normally from Triumph fans, dissing the Royal Enfield, saying that they're not good enough quality and that they break, and etc, etc. So it'd be interesting to hear from some owners down in the comments below whether that's true or not. I've had a few messages from owners of these Royal Enfields saying that they've been riding them done 12,000 miles, not had a single issue. So that's good to hear. So any more of you, let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.